Hi everyone, Chris here from GearTech, and we're going to take a look today at this, which is finally finished. The G&G ARP9 with the SRU 3D printed body kit. The guys from SRU sent this for free along with one of their M4 bullpup kits. I saw some of their work on Instagram, reached out to them, showed them what we do, and they sent this out and the M4 kit. First thing I should say, I did see this body kit on an ARP9, which is what piqued my interest. I've done a lot of work on ARP9s, always paint up nice. Thought it would look cool, but I don't think that this kit is necessarily made for the ARP9. I think this is more for your everyday M4 AR15 tyre style body. As you can see, the foregrip on the ARP9, it does extend beyond the front, which some people think looks a little strange. I've had to fit the suppressor because with just the muzzle brake it looked a bit weird, so we fit the suppressor. Another point with the ARP9, it doesn't have a RIS rail on the bottom, so if you are going to fit this foregrip to an ARP9, you are going to have to go out and buy these M-Lock rail systems, which I'd never fit before. Bit of a pain in the arse. Half an hour of my life that I'll never get back, but we got there in the end. So we fit one on the bottom for the foregrip, we popped another one on the side for this dummy PEQ. Unfortunately, the rail that I've used, the way that the holes in the bottom of the front end on the ARP9 are, it meant I could only fit this medium sized rail, which unfortunately the bolt here at the back of the foregrip, that's the only one that's actually connected to the rail. This one here, it's just a little bit too far forward from the rail, so it's only held on by this one. There's a bit of a wobble, but that's only down to the fact that I haven't tightened it fully. So I don't think it'll cause a problem. Possibly I could drill a hole further back on this one, countersink it, pop that one on the bottom, and then it will give that 2 points of contact on that foregrip. But not too bad. The stock consists of this little 3D printed buffer tube, and this is where I ran into problems. When the kits arrived and the G&G ARP9 arrived, I did a dry fit, and the first thing I noticed was it didn't come with one of these, which is what you'll find inside most buffer tubes. This will be inside your buffer tube, screws into the internals, that holds your buffer tube in place, which then your stock goes onto. This didn't come with one of those, so the only thing that was holding this stock to the body are the two screws that go inside the pistol grip, which I was a little bit worried about. I didn't think that felt very robust. So I looked on some of the owners' pages on Facebook, and someone did say that you can fit a regular buffer tube. So I went out and bought a metal buffer tube, which fits to the back of the ARP9 fine. The only thing is that obviously with the buffer tube attached, this stock has got to slide on from the back over the buffer tube, which caused problems with the wiring from down inside the receiver that feed down through the pistol grip, like on any M4 for the motor. As you were sliding it on, there was a risk that the wires, once you'd fed them through the pistol grip, were going to snag between the grip and the bottom of the receiver. And try as I might, I just couldn't get those wires to feed through properly where I was confident that they hadn't been snagged. So the only way I could see of doing it was undo the buffer tube, have that loose with inside the stock, and then to feed the stock on from underneath, feeding the wires through, so you knew you got a good alignment for the motor. The wires weren't snagged, but that caused a problem in that I couldn't get the buffer tube. It was just too tight to fit. It just would not push up over the fitting on the back of the receiver, which holds the buffer tube. Tried loosening the screws, got the buffer tube on, but then that would create a gap between the receiver and the grip, which I wasn't happy about. So in the end, I took the metal one out, popped the little 3D printed one in, which is only about this big. It's only a very short tube. This does actually fit inside the 3D printed one. It's a snug fit, but it will push in. Unfortunately, the bolt that came with the buffer tube is just a little bit too short. It sits around about there. So there is a possibility that you could go out and buy a longer bolt, cut it down to fit, and that would solve that problem. That would give it the 3 points of contact with the buffer tube and the 2 screws there. Also, on some of the Facebook owners' pages, a guy did say he'd fit a metal buffer tube and he'd modded it. He'd gone at it with his Dremel, he'd cut it down, and he'd got that to fit fine. The only other problem is on this little 3D printed one, this fake dummy sling plate, if you don't have one of those, which I tried fitting this one, which might be just fractionally too wide, you are left with a gap down here. If all you've got is your buffer tube in, you're left with a gap there, which again looked a bit odd. So I had this lying around. I might mod this with a Dremel, see if I can slim it down a little bit, see if I can get that to fit along with the metal tube. So yeah, that caused me grief, and I'm still going to come back to that and see if we can sort that problem out. The stock, it's got this little compartment for your battery, which I know people with ARP9s have said there isn't a massive amount of room for your battery. With this stock, plenty of room. That just pops off nice and easy, so game day you can change your batteries, and then it just pops back on. Nice and easy. As you can see, the stock at the moment's a little bit loose. I'm going to have to try and tighten the 2 screws that hold this butt plate in place. The bottom one's gripped. It won't go in any further. It won't come out now either. So I'm going to have to either try and saw through it with the hacksaw, or get a bigger screwdriver that can get more torque on and try and get it out that way. The finish on the actual 3D printed parts, you're going to get ridges in 3D printed plastics, but it's not as bad as I thought. It's a nice finish. This has had a coat of primer, a couple of coats of colour, a couple of coats of clear coats. It's had the weathering coats, and it is not overly noticeable, the ridge lines on this. You're going to see them on the foregrip, especially around these curved surfaces, but it doesn't detract from the look at all. It's still a sexy looking bit of kit when it's on. The only thing I think you will have issues if you're going to fit it on an ARP9, and again, the back of the ARP9 where this buffer tube fits might be different to other M4 AR15 receivers, but I think if I do try modding this metal one, then I might have a result and be able to fix that. I think if you've got a solid tube that's got some sort of recoil system in, you might struggle. I'd be interested to hear. Pop something in the comments below if you do have that kind of buffer tube and how you get on with this kit. It might just be the ARP9 that caused me problems, and the sling plate and the buffer tube that I'm using, so I'd be interested to see what people's experiences out there. There was someone on Facebook that had one of these stocks fit for quite some time, that fit this to a DMR, and they've been using it for a while, not had any issues with it. They did only use this 3D printed part, and they did only have it held on with the 2 screws inside the grip, and they did say that they've had no problems for quite some time now. So yeah, there we go. The G&G ARP9 with the SRU-Precision 3D printed body kit. I'll put a link down to the SRU website. They do some nice kits. There's the M4 one. They do a really nice AK one. They do some nice pistol conversion kits to turn it into that sort of short carbine type thing. So check it out. The whole thing, a little bit of a nod to Manga's Akira with the stickers that I chose to put on this thing. If you are in the UK, there's a chance that I might do a bonus ball giveaway on this. It's too nice to have sat in a box, and that was, I got this originally to paint up, and it was going to be the type of thing that I took to events to show off along with some of the other things that I've painted. But I think it's too nice just to be sat in a box and brought out once or twice a year. So I may do a bonus ball giveaway. If you are in the UK, you will have to be in the UK because some of the laws and regulations regarding the shipping of airsoft overseas can be a little bit crazy. So yeah, I like it. It gives that ARP9 a funky look, and funky's good sometimes. Cheers guys.